What is law and order? When people hear of law and order and judgment, what comes into their mind is not actually judgment, law and order. So what is the law and order? Let's take one example of a seed. The law, the order, and the judgment of the seed is the seed to the ground, it dies, germinates, and emerges and returns, give a fruit and another seed. That is the law of the seed. That is the judgment of the seed. That is the order of the seed. So one of the other interesting things that people are always arguing about the law and the order of the chicken and an egg is which one came first. What is the law of the chicken and the egg? Is it the chicken and the egg, or is it the egg and the chicken? So what is the judgment of the chicken? So when you're talking about law and order and judgment, we are not talking about events of consequences. We are talking about the arrangement, the sequence, the order. The order of the body is the head, the loin, and the legs. The order of the rain is evaporation, cooling, and falling back to the ground. That is the order of the judgment of the rain, that it rises from the ground, evaporates, goes into the sky and cools, and then fall down. So that is the order of water and the order and the judgment of the rain and the water. But remember, you're still going to tell me, you haven't gone anywhere, you're going to tell me what is the law and the order of the chicken. Because of the bird, is the chicken and the egg, or is it? So that when we are talking about the judgment of God, the law of God, and the order of God, you don't start to imagine something that will happen. We are talking about how it has been placed in sequence of appearance and superiority from above, between, and on earth. So the law of God, when we talk about the judgment of God, is the hierarchical descent of from the highest to the lowest to the earth. So the law and the order actually is so simple. It means that the law and the order of birth is the father and the mother, the seed and the womb, and then 9 months, and then is born. That's the law of birth. There's nothing like going there to say, oh, don't do not. That's, let it be just like God said that let there be and let them multiply. So when he said let there be and let them multiply and be, that's the order and the law of the created things. So when we come to look at the covenant of the promise of God and the law and the order of the third temple, the kingdom of God is now here. I don't want you to start thinking that the judgment of God is an earthquake will happen, people will die, people will go to exile, there will be calamity, there will be things happening. Of course, those are consequences, but that is just other consequences, because the law and the order have been removed, so that if the law of birth is the egg, the seed to the womb, and the seed does not go to the womb, so the order and the law and the judgment of birth have been cut off. So you can't say that it is because of anything else. So we'll be bringing down the ark of the covenant of the promise of God. And then when I see the law and the order and the judgment of the ark of the covenant, I'm not talking about events and happening. It's the ark of the covenant, what is placed at the top, what is placed in the middle, and this what is placed at the bottom. Because this which is placed at the top above, cannot be replaced with this which is at the middle and then this which is at the bottom. So how the law and order, which is start with this is the top, this is the head, this is the body, this is the base. So how is the Ark of the Covenant? Because everything else that is contained in the Ark of the Covenant goes astray, not because people have done that, not because that one have done that, but because the order of the descending covenant and the ark. Now that which was in the bottom has been placed in the middle, and that which is above been placed below. So the order is not followed. So that covenant cannot yield because it is not flowing. It is not in the order of the way it was established. So again, the Ark of the Covenant has law and order which cannot be changed, so that now on its return, the most important thing is that now at the return of the Ark of the Covenant, the most important thing is to remember when it came first, because now it's returning, what was on the top, what was in the middle, and what was the bottom. So that now the one that is returning, the one that now was at the bottom will appear above, and the one that was above will now appear at the bottom. So that now when you go to worship with the Ark of the Covenant, now you are placing it in the right order. First this, then this, and then this. This is the order. We start with this, then we go to this, and then we go to this. So now that the Ark of the Covenant has returned, now it's inverted. So if you don't know the original covenant and how the order of it was placed, you will not be able to receive the return covenant, who is not changed, but it's now as it came that has returned. Dr. Samuel Juguna Kahoro from Nairobi, Kenya, giving you the dispensation of the law and order of the rule and the reigns. The kingdom of God is now here on earth. The distinction of the mark of the promise of God, kuzaliwa taifa jipya la Kenya, and Kenya's new day of independence.